let's jump into this. We're going to be doing R5, how to build an R5 team. So the real easy thing for me to do is to snip this. And where's my little snippet tool? Come on, snippet tool. And we have a snippet tool. You've got to snip it. You've got to snip it. All right, we'll take that and snip it. And then we'll go over to paint. You've got to snip it. Okay. And we'll zoom in. All right, so first things first, let's label these and do this. Okay. And we'll make one more and throw it over here. Stick, okay. Okay, I'm reloaded. Slot 4 is right here. Bada bing. Okay. I've been getting so many people have been coming in lately to ask how to do R5 though, so I had to get it done. Slot 6. And then I've been working on the YouTube channel, so if you guys feel generous, make sure you go drop that follow and subscribe on the YouTube. It really helps out. We'll make it nice and easy for everybody. So that's super. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you there. Okay. So slot 1, you can just make really easy. It's just going to be your cleanser. Someone who cleanses debuffs. Do I need to explain what debuffs are? Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Oh, all right. So slot 2 is slot 2 equals damage reduction. And so that is Darian / Diaz. And someone who puts up shield. What are they called? Not shields. Shields. Yeah, it is shields. Shields. I was thinking that it was defense buff, but it's not. Okay. So someone who puts up shields. Okay. Slot 3 is going to be a straight up healer. Slot 4. Now, I always forget what that fire one's name is. What's her name again? Her name is Lisa. Lisa removes all harmful effects. And she just heals. So it's like sustain. These are sustainers if you, as long as you can have them. Okay, so we're going to go back. So these are sustainers. Slot 4 equals sustain. Sustain. Sustain is priority. Priority. Damage. You can go damage if your team can handle it. So for people that are a little bit more late game, you can have some, you know, if you have an Amarna, if you have the Josephine and the Colleen on the front line, this team doesn't really die. They handle themselves pretty well. They have a lot of cleanse, a lot of heal, a lot of shield, so it works out pretty good. So slot 4, but the Emma and the Lisa to keep these other two up is really good. You don't really need a Balger in there. He's just kind of on a damage build from BJR5. It works still, but I understand if you guys have questions on why I have a Balger in there, it's fine. Okay, sustain, slot 4. Sustain priority, but damage if your team can handle it. Now, slot 5 and slot 6 are going to be the same thing. These monsters do take priority. So slot 5, these are necessary, almost necessary monsters to have. Slot 6. These are equals damage. Damage monsters. Damage monsters. Let's call it monsters that do damage. Let's do all caps. Damage based on debuffs. Or a lot of raw damage. Okay, there you go. Slot 5, 6. It's lots of capital letters. I love my caps. It's very strong. It's very strong language. Okay. And that's it. If you guys can handle this. So, this team, Diaz and Darien, you don't need a 2A Darien. Mine's not 2A, and he's literally level 35. Diaz is level 40. You know, they do work just as they are. Let's go over to the game, and we will show some runes now. So, I'm just going to cover all my runes, and that way you guys can see. You don't really need to see artifacts or anything for this. It's not really important. Amarna is very slow. As you can tell, he's on Vio Will. You have Josephine, also Vio Will, missing an artifact. Artifacts are not really necessary for this team to run. Here's Colleen. Colleen's really old school. So she's on Vio Revenge. And then you're going to have Hua, who's also the leader. She's pretty fast for maybe some of the newer intermediate players. 158 on Swift Blade. Obviously, some of the veteran players are going to look at this and laugh, but that's okay. Like I said, this is a team that works. Once again, artifact not even powered up, but she's going to do damage based on increased harmful effect on the enemy. So an extra 15 damage, and you know it's really important that you have monsters that do that. So build them. Once again, Lume is really clutch for this. And then here you go. You got Chang Fei. He's kind of lower on the HP, but he's a super big tank. Super slow, right? He's going to let your team get the debuffs. So the team is going to get the debuffs, and then he's going to cleanse them. Darien doesn't even have artifacts. Level 35, not 2-aid, but still 21,000 HP. Fran's going to be over here with Vio Will. Make sure she's on Vio. Will is pretty clutch just for, you know, your siege teams or whatever. But this is a good team that I use, or Fran that I use for, you know, the C3 and the G1 sieges that we're in also. Emma just got her one last skill up that she needs and she'll be done. But she's on Vio Will, or Vio Shield, excuse me. And so shield runes are pretty good too. If you can get one of your units on shield, that'll be really helpful for the rest of the team to survive that first couple hits. Naomi, once again, you don't have to build her because she automatically crits at 100%, and then the inflicted damage will be increased by 20% for each harmful effect. You are going to need to 2A her to get these skills the way you need them to be. Once again, Crow is also going to be 2A'd. You don't need to skill him up to do this team. It's still going to work with just the normal Crow without skill ups. Also, you know, as you can tell, they're super slow. But the team is still working on it, you know, right around an average of 1:30. Aerial, if you don't have an aerial, you can use any cleanser here. So there's a whole list of cleansing units, and I'll show you how to find those in a moment. If you forgot, or if you just don't remember, or if you haven't gotten to figure that part out yet. But once again, cleansers can be a little bit slower because your team is going to get the debuffs first, and then they're going to have something to cleanse. But you'll see the healers will be a little bit faster, right? So Diaz, he's just a tank. He's just there to use his third skill to decrease the chances of receiving a critical hit, and then also reduces the damage that the other allies receive by 15%. Riley, super easy to build. You can fuse a Riley right over there at the fusion center, and my Riley's not even skilled up. Once again on shield runes. Yep, shield runes is the right word. And 27,000 HP. 90, still not the fastest Riley, but we do have a lot of heal coming in with Ariel as well. Lisa on Vio Endure. So these are just for stats. Once again, super tanky, 18,000. Not super tanky, but tanky enough. She has a fun one where it removes all harmful effects on all allies. And then after that, randomly selected allies will attack the enemy target. So that's always good. But the removing, it's a second cleanse, right? So that's always really positive. And then we're just gonna have raw damage with Douglas. So destroy runes don't work on the boss, but this is just like my RTA build or whatever. And then without these artifacts, you know. And then I could totally change out Balger, but he just does some damage. He's on an attack build still. So he's going to do a little bit of work for the team, especially when people die. Um, Now, if you guys don't remember or don't know how to get cleansers and see which ones those are, maybe some people are a little bit younger in the game. You can come, let me just show you, walk you through this. You can click on monster right here, and then you can go to collection, and then you can click search, and then you can go right all the way down here to remove harmful effects. So remove harmful effects is going to be how you're going to remove cleanse, and then you can come up with all these lists of monsters that may help you out in your building of an R5 team. So make sure they do an AoE, which is all the units that you have. Or if you're using Fran, like a single target, that's going to be fine too. But you're going to want to focus for your cleansers for the entire team to either A, reduce the amount of time. So Tetra, if you have a Tetra, she'll work really good because she reduces the time of all harmful effects except inability effects granted on allies by 1 turn, and recovers the ally with the lowest HP status by 15% of your HP every turn. So you can even throw her in the front line as a tank if you need to. But these here units will be very good. You could potentially throw a Mav in there because he does remove 1 harmful effect out of all allies, but his provoke is going to be super useless. Even though it does heal himself, and his stun on skill 1 is going to be pretty useless, I would not recommend it. Tiana, I probably wouldn't recommend as using this either, just because she's only going to cleanse, and then her other 2 skills are useless. You're kind of wanting sustain monsters for cleansers. Somebody more like a Louise would be really good if you have Louise. I know she's a nat 5. This one, Triana, is really good if you have a Triana. She removes the harmful effects of 1 ally, but all allies get 20% HP and grants immunity. So immunity is going to be really good for your team to have as well. The boss does do some stripping, though, so just be careful. But so on and so forth, you guys can really get a handle on it. And I don't know if this Ravidi is any good. Yeah, removes harmful effects on all allies and grants immunity. Yeah, he could be good for your team as well if you just want to, if you only have Ravidi as like kind of a last ditch effort. He's not going to be able to use this one, but he will, well, he won't be able to use the first part of this. He will be able to reduce the target's attack speed, so that's going to be fine, and he'll still do the damage based on his defense, which is fine as well. He could be like a tank for you in the front line if you need him to be. And then he's also going to use skill 1 as well, so this does work as kind of like a nice sustain monster if you need it. Just food for thought, if you have an Alucia, she's going to not be able to use skill 3, but she is going to be able to use her skill 1, and then this, skill 2. Skill 1 is not going to be able to be used, so I wouldn't really worry about Alucia in there. But yeah, Juno as well. Juno's going to cleanse herself and then heal the team. I would not recommend using a Juno in this dungeon just because you're only going to be cleansing yourself and doing some... it's going to be heals, right? But it's not going to be the heals you're looking for. I've even used, believe it or not, I used to use Raccoony because he removes 2 harmful effects on an ally with the lowest HP and heals them. You could also... no, I probably wouldn't use Raccoony. I'd probably use Ravidi over Raccoony. All of these are going to be probably pretty good, though. Removes harmful effects on target ally and recovers yourself. I think you're going to... Yeah, and removes harmful effects granted on all allies. So you could want to be doing stuff like that. Lala and Friends. Lulu and Friends is going to be good, too. So if you have any of these built, they're going to be pretty good for your team. Attacks the enemy target and recovers HP of all allies. Absorbs target attack bar. No, maybe not that one. Removes a harmful effect on you and the target ally. That'll be okay, but you're really going to want to focus on AoE heals and stuff. More like a Riley is going to be really good, and a Marna is going to be really good. Delphoy is actually really good in this too. She does remove harmful effects on all allies, grants immunity for 2 turns, and recover 30% of their HP, so that's pretty useful. It is a 4-turn cooldown after you skill her up, though. You're not going to be able to use Mind Shock, and attacks this, decrease the attack speed. You can decrease the attack speed. That's going to be okay because it's going to apply the debuff. But Olivia attacks the enemy 2 times. No. It removes all harmful effects granted on an ally target. So she's a single one. The other two are honestly better. Let's see if there's anybody else I can spot really quick. I'm sure some of these totemists are really good. Stacks of totem, removes 1 harmful effect granted on all allies and recovers their HP. That's going to be really good. Grants immunity. Yeah, so if you have an Aaliyah, that'll be really good. What about these water cookies? I don't know if these are going to be good. If an ally takes damage, you have a 15% chance to offset the damage. Yeah, that's going to be really good. Attack the enemy to deal damage proportionate to your defense and the stun. It's not going to stun an R5 boss. Remove 1 harmful effect granted on all allies and increase their attack bar. That'll be pretty good as a cleanse. You know, if you got 1, it'll still have a couple others, but you're going to be using it alongside of a healer too. So this could be pretty good for your team as a sustain monster. And probably something like, I think Hagang, that ruin an ally or enemies and allies, remove harmful effects. The attack bar of all allies will be increased by 15%. When enemies remove beneficial effects, I could have swore, there it is. Attacks all enemies to remove all beneficial effects. No, that's not what we're looking for. I thought he did like a really nice heal and all harmful effects. When an enemy removes beneficial effects of allies, all harmful effects on the ally will be removed with beneficial effects and be removed. What? With the removed beneficial effects will be removed and the attack bar will be increased by 15%. I don't know. I maybe he'll work. I don't honestly know about that one. Just because I've been using my team for the longest time and I don't have a Hagang to kind of chime in on. But Velajul could work. Removes all harmful effects on all allies, granting immunity for 3 turns and increasing the attack bar. That's going to be good. And then deals damage based on his defense, so he can go in the front. He's a frontline monster, could be good. And then removing beneficial effect on the enemies and deal damage according to your defense. So the R5 boss doesn't really get bennies. He just does a really nice cleanse of all the negs that you put on him. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it, guys. I've even used Fen Yang in the front line as a you know, just a damage tank. So you know, you just got to put your damage tanks, your tanks in the front line, and then your damage in the back line. Vero, if you're really down to your last of it, you're kind of new in the game, you can even use Veramos. Veramos just got a really nice buff, starting to come back around in RTA even. Removes a harmful effect except inability effects on all allies each turn, and the allies will recover their HP by 5% for each harmful effect removed. In addition, your attack bar increases by 15% for each harmful effect remaining on the ally after attacking each turn. So that's going to be really awesome to use the passive. You got an HP leader skill, which is really beneficial as well. The stun's not going to be working for this, obviously, but you're going to have damage dealt based on your HP. And then the target immune to stun will have the attack bar decreased by 50% chance. I don't think that works for the R5 boss, so you're only going to be able to do damage based on your HP with this one. And then this is according to speed, so you know that'll be fine. R5 boss is not going to be getting continuous damage, so that's that. But you know, if you guys have also units that resurrect as well, that could always be beneficial, like an Amarna. I'm sure there's others in here, but you can kind of go through and show all these revive if you want to do that, and kind of click through here, like a Vanessa maybe. You're not going to want a bomber. Nana would be nice as a frontline tank. Tyrannus might be nice as a frontline tank to res your units. Brian D. Let's talk about Brian D really quick. Briand, as some people say, revives a dead ally and evens out the HP ratio of all allies. In addition, recovers the HP of all allies by 15%. Everybody used to use Brian D back in the day, Briand, and he's kind of fallen under the wayside. But if you're building a solo R5 team and you're really just struggling to find units, he's a good frontline. Plus, he also has a resistance of 30% that you can use in there as well. And but that's going to be really helpful for a lot of you guys out there, I'm sure. So keep an eye on monsters that help your team resurrect. If you guys do have a Beta, you can totally use Beta. She's going to be really nice to recover your allies by 20%, decrease the chances of them of getting critical hits for 2 turns, and the immunity, which is really awesome as well. She has the recovery of the attack bar by 40%. If it's used on a dead ally, the ally will be revived with 40% and the attack bar, but adds a 2-turn cooldown, which is fine because R5, this solo team, it's only a minute and a half, 2 minutes tops anyways. So she'll probably just be able to get it off maybe once or twice, and you'll be good to go. And then remove beneficial effect, but this does damage based on HP. So she could fit in there as well. I wouldn't... Tion, definitely seen a lot of people use Tion. Revives an dead ally, and recovers the HP of all allies by 20%. If there's no allies to be revived, this skill receives a decreased cooldown of 2 turns, which is really nice. And then fills up the target's attack bar. The AI on these birds is actually pretty good, so you can totally use them. Eladriel, not a bad unit whatsoever for R5s. It's got the revive and then also does soul protect. Really good unit. Recovers targets HP by 50%, increases their defense. Super good unit. This does consume half your HP by half and grants soul protection on itself. But in addition, consumes your HP additionally by... Oh, if he's going to revive multiple units, then he's going to keep reducing his HP. Some people might need that. It's super clutch. As far as units that I actually know about, though, that'll be pretty good. Recover HP. I did want to touch just really quick on these Drunken Masters. So if you guys have these Drunken Masters, attacks the enemy with a swift attack, increase the attack bar of all allies by 15%, and attack speed for 2 turns, get drunks, and attack a random monster with the rolling punch 50% afterwards. But here's the kicker. Recovers the HP of all allies proportionate to your attack power, and decreases their chances of being attacked with a critical hit for 2 turns. Gets drunk and attacks a random enemy, which there's only one enemy, so it's the Rift Beast, the Rift Monster, for 30%. So not only are you going to be able to attack, increase your attack bar by 15%, increase your attack speed, and then attack again with a 50% chance after you get the buffs. But then he also has a recovery, which is nice, and then hits again. And then he's got one that ignores the defense and weakens the attack power. So he even has another debuff. If you come down to the light one, the light Drunk Master, Tiankin, if you're lucky enough to pull him, he attacks the enemy 3 times with a swift kick to disturb the enemy's HP recovery, which you're going to need HP block for this, by the way. You do want HP block. Recovery block, excuse me. Colleen's really a necessary unit for that in R5. 2 turns with a 75% chance. So attacks the enemy 3 times with a swift kick strike to disturb the enemy's HP recovery for 2 turns with a 75% chance, and recovers the HP of all allies by 25% of the inflicted damage. Super good, right? Gets drunk and attacks a random enemy with the rolling punch for 50%. And you come here, recovers the HP of all allies proportionate to your attack power, and decreases their chances of being attacked with critical hits for 2 turns. Gets drunk and attacks a random enemy with rolling punch for 30% afterwards. And then this one here is just going to have a defense break for 1 and weakens the attack power. Oh, ignores the defense and weakens the enemy's attack power for 1 turn. So pretty good units for R5 if you need to kind of like look for fillers. I'm sure there's a bunch more that you guys can go in and find. But I wanted to just touch on a lot of these units that would be able to be helpful that I've seen used in the past. And yeah, if you guys did like this video, please feel free to subscribe. Comment on units that you think I may have missed. That's totally cool too. But all in all, I've been getting a lot of questions on how to build an R5 team to solo R5 in my Twitch. So stop by the Twitch at any given time. And yeah, good luck to you guys with your solo R5 teams.